Come on, jump on now, there's no waiting on the fun fair, crazy. Yes, just pay the pay box if you'd like to jump on now, just step right this way, there's no waiting.
Thank you very much, well done. Anybody else like to give the game a try now? It's nice and easy, folks, it's nice and simple. If you like to have a try for that. All you've got to do is follow the second point. Behind the door, have a big try.
Well, what's happening? There it is. Oh, fucking hell. Go in, lad. Unplug. Shut your back. Right, let's see what's going on. By the way, good morning all.
हाथ नहीं लगाते फ्रूट इधर देखिए इधर देखो भाई
Hydrogargia chloridum mites. So they use mites.
Probably went down. I think it might be worth letting the fire go down a little bit.
Coffee. Beef.
I got grass in it. It got cleaned out before we came away. Must have got kicked in while we were moving stuff around.
Licamorphia sulfa. Morphine, in other words.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
re-enactment. The event's going to be taking place in about 25 minutes. So yeah, stay tuned on the film and watch more. to then on the main arena. So in the next 15 minutes, we have the first part of today's battle reenactments. Second part's going to be around 4 PM this afternoon. So during the battle reenactment, please be out of the arena. Thank you very much. ran out of men. 21 million people in the north, half of which were never even called up. And in the south we had 9 million. But half of those were slaves. So only half of the people were available to fight. Some of them more than to this because they were people who could afford to. And even though the time you finish looking your people of men, you've got perhaps 2 to 3 million people that you can call up against the 21 million that they can call up. And they never even called all the 21 million. It never even happened. There was a slight disparity as well in the amount of resource that was available. The US government, of course, has the majority of the industry. And this begins to show when you look at the average US trooper. We have them on the field now. They're all dressed in blue. The war between the blue and the grey, yeah, these guys are dressed in blue. The blue, the light blue trousers, they symbolise that these are in fact conscripts. Regulars would be dressed with dark blue trousers. And at the beginning of the war, these guys came equipped with long frock coats. The sergeant in front of the army is wearing such a frock coat, one of the men. And these long frock coats were reminiscent to the Victorian and the earlier style of warfare that you're more familiar with than the Napoleonic. So these long frock coats that the gentleman with the brown hat on is wearing a New York militia jacket.
Just so you can
A lot of this variation existed at the beginning of the war. As the war went on though, Union troops were issued with a 4-foot sack coat. This is a simple document collecting wood, collecting water, building things. And most of the soldiers actually ended up sending their fighting uniforms home and living in these slouch hats. The slouch hat is this crumpled affair that most people wear in this, forage hat, not slouch hat. Although a lot of them actually began to bring their hats from home. And the Iron Brigade had these tall black hats, which is maintained throughout the war.
You might be able to help me
A lot of uniformity here, and the Union Army,
The American Civil War
if you were the
re-enactment.
Union Army and you went to war, you could expect some useful things. They would supply you
Basically,
with
when America went to war against its own army, the North against the South, basically the North wanted to get rid of slavery, the North wanted slavery, the South didn't want slavery. They wanted unity, and they went to war, and that's what created the American Civil War.
So these didn't want it.
One side didn't, one side did.
When we see the Confederates,
I don't know which is which, to be fair, when it comes to
they
that.
had a slightly different time of it.
So these two don't like each other.
The North did control all of the Navy. The South had no Navy. What little bit of a Navy could muster in war from England, which caused a great deal of problematic war, it used for raiding, promise raiding, to try and draw the Union blockade of the South away. This didn't work. So the Union actually managed to control all of the trip from and outward. When the Union found out that England was selling about 58 muskets to the Confederates, they couldn't do anything about that. What it did was it bought all of the Pat 58 muskets. So the most common gun of the American Civil War, by model, is not the American-made Springfield, it is the Pat 58 musket, which you will see a lot of soldiers on both sides are carrying.
We wanted to control America.
The other thing that happened was the Springfield muskets, which are American-made, split into 2 models. 1861 model, the 1863 model. These are
I don't mind a little bit, get the kids working. I want the car washed.
So 577 to 58 and that post, that for a muzzle loaded weapon, it makes no difference. Therefore, everybody in this war is using exactly the same guns, exactly the same caliber of ammunition. Which means if the Confederates go ahead and win a battle, then they can actually capture what they need for the next battle off the battlefield.
They're going to play the World War.
At the beginning of the war, this happened quite a lot. Towards the end of the war, Ulysses S. Grant just kept battling and battling and battling, and they just ran out of resources, ran out of men. In fact, when he went down the river at the end, on his way to Richmond, he lost nearly every day, but he caused so many casualties to the Confederacy, there was no army. And finally, when General Lee said, there's no army, what are we to do? And he sent his commander to the north to have a look what was going on. And he went to the north and he found Sheridan's army, a brand new Union army, approaching on him that way. There was an army behind him, there was an army in front of him, and there was an army above him. That is the disparity that occurred at the end. Now, in the war between the blue and the grey, it can become blindingly obvious that most of our Confederates are not dressed in grey. Why is this? The grey uniform is the cadet uniform. At the beginning of the war, that was the only alternative the Confederates had. So they got themselves a cadet uniform. The problem was Union cadets were still in grey, and some of the regulars that joined the Confederacy didn't want to dress in cadets, so they were in blue. You can see where this confusion is going to go horribly wrong. So they asked, can we make a uniform? And they decided very sensibly that they would make a uniform, and it would be brown, a nice dark chocolate brown, which actually works as a very, very good rudimentary camouflage. However, they didn't have enough wool, so they mixed it with a cotton, and it becomes jean cloth, which is what they're made out of. They didn't have the industry, so they homemade them. And they made this chocolate brown uniform, and it faded in the sun to this colour that we now know as butternut. Now, unfortunately, the war between the blue and the butternut doesn't have the same ring as the war between the blue and the grey, but in fact, you will notice that most of the soldiers are dressed in this butternut colour, not in the grey. Some of the soldiers, such as the soldier on the left, second in, is wearing the cadet uniform of the grey with the frock coat. And this goes on. Some Confederate states said we don't want to be told what to do by the government, that's why we left. So we're not going to let our government tell us what to do, so we're going to have our own uniform. Some of them imported English trousers, so you'll see some dark blue trousers in the Confederate lines. These are English military cloth. Some of the states decided that they were going to have a different colour jacket. Some of them wouldn't share. We're all expecting a big bang there. What's going to happen? These are percussion guns. Now, you don't hear a lot about percussion guns. We'll talk a bit about the muskets here. Muskets that we're using, all percussion. Flintlock was superseded by percussion. The difference is having all that complicated pan and a Fritson and a flint and all sorts of things to look after. You have a simple nipple upon which a copper cap goes, like a cap gun. And when that's struck, it sends a lovely stream of sparks into your chamber. Bang, your gun goes off. Now, this stream of sparks gives you better ignition than a flintlock, so you get more power out of the gun. It also works in the rain. So why don't we see a lot about flintlocks? Flintlocks appear about 1830, and by 1880 they've disappeared. Percussion cap have gone and disappeared. Why? Because breech loaders begin to come in the Union Army about this time as well. And it does not take anybody too long to think, why on earth would I have the percussion cap on the outside of the gun when I can put it on the back of the round? And within those 50 years we have made the leap to modern cartridges. Now, despite the fact that this was a traditional war fought in a traditional manner, it starts off with rank and file like the Napoleonic War. Very quickly it's realised this doesn't work. So a much more modern style of fighting begins to evolve. And this is skirmish. Skirmish is very simple. They're practicing in skirmish now. Men operating in pods, 2 or 4, and the answer's simple. This guy here is loaded and ready. So basically, as his friend moves, he's got to fire. So it's basically fire and move. Also, if you happen to be an artilleryman or a rank of line infantryman, these make a much harder target than a rank of line infantryman. So as you can see, this guy here is fired and this guy's passing him. So this guy moves after this guy's fired. He fires, he's now ready, but he's going to wait for this guy to tell him he's loaded, because these are still muzzle-loaded guns. There you go, it's called ready. So these guys are firing, these guys are already loaded. And this is the birth of the modern infantry tactic. What's happening here? Skirmish order, and this becomes more and more prevalent as the war goes on. Because what had occurred to people is that all the tactics were based around these guns being 50-yard smoothbore muskets, and of course none of these guns are that. These guns are in fact all rifles. Now muskets are fired 3 times a minute, and then a rifle in Napoleonic era only fired once a minute. The generals didn't like them. But Claude Binet invented a magic bullet, a mini ball. It's a bullet that's too small. But if it's too small, how does it grip the rifling? We'll do it the other way around here. This time the front round fires, and they are now going to retire. Now they're going to load, and it's going to happen in the opposite order here. So this time, these guys are going to shout ready when they're loaded, and as these guys pass them, they're going to fire. Skirmish order. So Claude Binet's bullet is magic. It's got a cavity in the bottom, and when the trigger is pulled, the charge goes off, that cavity expands, grips the rifle in, and all of a sudden, you have a rifle that can fire 3 times a minute, but is a rifle. And the accuracy difference is alarming. You don't got a gun that can fire up to 50 yards, you've got a gun that can fire up to 500 yards. Now, I'm going to be careful here, because people say, well, I'd like to see that. I'd like to see a seer man with iron sights at 500 yards. You're right. These guns can fire at 500 yards if you've got really good ammunition, you've got them on a mount, and you fire repeat shots with measured rounds. Yes, it can. But quite sensibly, with the hands of a decent infantryman, you would probably get 150 rounds for 150 yards, 50 metres out of one of these. At this point, cavalry charges are going to stop happening. At this point, these tactics of marching straight at your enemy is going to become suicidal, and yet they were still doing it in these parade ground orders. Our Confederates, they're just in the wheel, by the way. That's what's called a wheel, where the line moves around like a big door. This is very famous maneuver. It's normally a battle that is normally a parade ground maneuver, but actually at the Battle of Gettysburg, it's actually used as a battle maneuver and probably saved the Union flag. Now, here we go, let's load some guns. The first thing that happens is the soldier reaches to his rear, takes a round from his pouch, and from his ammunition pouch, bites off the top, puts it down the barrel, and then rams the round home with the rammer. He returns the rammer to the rifle, then he tows the rifle across himself. While he's doing this, he reaches in the front pouch and retrieves that percussion cap I was telling you about. Now he's got the percussion cap, he places that on the weapon, and then if he's waiting for instructions, he goes to the shoulder. When the whole regiment goes to the shoulder, the sergeant knows that they're loaded. And at that point, we should all be good to go. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that was a volley. Come in a round of applause. That was a pretty good volley, actually. It sounded almost like one gun. It wasn't perfect, but it did sound. It certainly set a challenge for the Confederates. Can they do better? Yes, they can actually. Now, this is slightly easier because they're doing firing by rank. So they only had half as many people to do that, so that's how they got away with that. Oh, 2 good volleys. Now, why would you do firing by rank? Well, if you're on the battlefield and you're moving about in this group, and you fired all of your troops, this means that you were unloaded. So everybody stood there reloaded. If you wanted quick manoeuvres, sometimes they would fire half their troops, move by half their troops.
Should we go back to that? Fight song.
Volley fire is great, but here's a problem. If you are, for instance, trying to take a defender behind a wall, and you march up and you fire a volley, he sees all these guys about to fire a volley, he just ducks. So as the volley's fired, he stands up and shoots these guys who are spending 20 get around that. This is called fire by fire. So that man who's fired is now reloading, and each man in turn pulls the fire, and the man at the start is reloading. And if you can imagine this, and then it's all the way down. So you never know when the next round is coming in. Fire by fire is a suppression tactic used by both sides. And now you can see we've got sporadic fire, and it's continuous. And this is exactly how it should be. It doesn't work so well with this many people, but when you've got double that amount, or close to what original was, it works insanely well. There's always a bullet in the air, and if I'm a defender on the other side of somewhere, I'm never sure that round's going to come in. I know, a skirmish is now firing. Doing fire by fire, of course. But quick fire by fire. The idea is to get it nice and steady, so it's always a good firing. Now, despite the fact that these are live guns, the one part we've missed today, which is fairly obvious to you all, is we have not put any bullets down. That's the bit we missed. Otherwise, we run out of participants quite quickly. And when we do the battle today, this makes it about the ranges. We are going to shorten the ranges in which these things apply, because we've only got this much battlefield in which you can see us in. Today when we do our demonstration, this demonstration will take place at effectively a quarter of the range it would. We've condensed the battlefield, and we're going to ask you just to suspend a little bit of belief on that, just so you understand what's happening. Now even these, I'm keeping them out, because even though these are just blank firing guns, we do have some very critical safety distances. You saw earlier smoke ring which came out of these, and this is because of course they are making a great deal of power and moving a great deal of air. And at short ranges, even these can be very dangerous, so we have to follow some serious safety protocols. But you want a competition? They want a competition. So what do they want to compete in? Oh well, I better ask somebody from the audience to judge, because otherwise I'll get accused of undue bias. So, well, in fact, why don't I ask the entire audience to judge? So, right, well, who's going to fire first? Oh, and then I see. And then you're going to fire, and then we're going to ask the audience who we thought was better. Are you feeling confident? Are you feeling confident? I'm fire skirmishers. Not bad. That didn't sound like one rocket, was it? Was it close? Well, let's see if the Union can do any better. That one! Ladies and gentlemen, who thought the Confederate one was better? Who thought the Union one was better?
Yay!
Oh, you're going to be smug all night now, aren't you, Mr. Madison? Smug all night. I must admit, actually, that one was pretty spot on. I don't think that one's going to be repeated. That was that good. I wore the rugby uniform today, didn't I? Be ashamed of myself. Sorry, skirmishers, thank you for that. Right, okay. So now, what's going to happen now is we're going to open orders. You're going to open the order. As I said, these are genuinely live firearms, so we have to make sure that they're clear before we use the field. Yeah. So the first thing we do is we normally just cap off. We just normally put a percussion cap on the gun and fire them. Any gun that has not gone off then will go off. And then we can show that these weapons are quick rammers. So we're going to hold the gun, we're going to drop the rammers down. Oh, we've only brought the skirmishers there, just to not feel left out. I still don't think you beat the Union today. If the rammer hits the bottom or the chamber with a nice ding, then of course the gun's empty. And if it's empty, then we can leave the field with it, which is what we change. Percussion guns also bring about some new innovations. Not only do they lead us almost directly onto, of course, our friends, the cartridge rifles, but of course with a percussion cap and the smallness of a percussion cap, a new type of weapon is immediately available. Revolver! Now everybody thinks these have rounds in them. They don't. They're percussion. Every cylinder has to be hand loaded. So it takes over 2 minutes. Because the obvious thing would be to say, well, why doesn't anybody have these? But actually it takes over 5 minutes to load these. But yeah, the percussion revolver. So the first handgun, that's a repeated handgun, comes into use. There was a done round of there, I thought that one, but I'll sort it out later. By the end of the American Civil War, the Union Army will have breech-loading rifles. They will have rifles that fire bullets. No longer will they fire these rounds, they will fire actual brass cartridges. They will have the Vulcan repeating rifle with a 15-round magazine. By the end of it, they will have the Gatling gun, which is a very early form of repeating rifle. It's not a machine gun because it is hand-cranked. There's a joke about the Gatling gun. Actually, the Gatling gun was replaced by Hiram Maxim's machine gun, which of course is a true machine gun. There was a limitation to how fast a Maxim gun could fire, and the modern rotary cannon is in fact a Gatling gun, powered by an electric motor. So it's the one occasion where technology is replaced by another technology that replaces another technology. But we've done the infantry, we've done some guns. Would you like to have some cannons?
Yeah!
So, shall we ask our cannon crews to join us? So, the beefiest thing on the American Civil War battlefield is the 12-pound Napoleon cannon. And Maxim 4-inch bore cannon. Smoothbore. Why wasn't it rifle? There was no need. You could fire a mile. And a mile you could hit a barn door. A rifle gun could hit, a mile you could hit the barn. A rifle gun could hit the barn door. Anyway, my cannon captain is looking at me, waiting for instructions. Loading by detail, I think you instructed me earlier. So, loading by detail. The first thing that goes down is the worm. Why the worm? To remove and... No, nothing. Stop the vent. Stop the vent. Yes, you're right. Stop the vent. The guy on the back is going to put his thumb on the vent to prevent the ingress of oxygen into this barrel, which will be devoid of it, because of course the last round will have sucked all the oxygen out. The worm is to remove any debris that may be left off from the last round. Then oddly, we're going to put water down the barrel, wet sponge. You see, the damp sponge is there to extinguish any flames that might be down there. Because if we put a live round underneath flames, or anything that's smouldering or burning, this could be slightly detrimental. But then we have to make sure that the barrel isn't wet through, because gunpowder goes with light water. Then we have to put a dry sponge there. Advance the round. The round is brought up from the rear. Never kept it with the gun, so from the rear. The round is placed in the barrel. Then we're going to ram. The ram is rammed all the way to the back. And then once that's happened, you'll notice that all of the tools are in the air. So everybody else on the field knows now these guns are loaded. Danger. Don't walk in front of them. Right. So, first of all, a spike is put through the touch hole all the way down to make sure that the cartridge, the powder that's in there is got lots and lots of got a hole in it. And then a primer is put on the back, and the gun captain raises his arms and he's loaded. Ready when you are. And you were all expecting a bang, weren't you? Yeah, I know. So what's happened there is they've just run through this drill. But you heard the primers go off, didn't you? Right, so this time we're going to do it slightly different. I could see all the audience tensing up, thinking, oh, this is going to Okay. Loaded by detail. Stop the vent. Worm. Wet sponge. Dry sponge. You'll also notice that at no point does anybody stand in front of the cannon barrel. We have very strict safety rules. You'll also notice that all hands are done like paws from underneath. Nobody puts their thumb above a rammer. If this gun accidentally goes off and fires the rammer, then literally goes out their hands. Gonna hurt, not gonna tear your hand off. There you go. So the round is again print. We're gonna put that primer in. And are you ready this time?
Ready.
Primer fail. Misfire. 2 guns. Misfire drill. So what happens here is if this happens, these guns are now in dangerous condition. There's rounds in the cannons, and we don't know if they're going to go off at any minute. So the tools are placed across the front of the barrels to signify to anybody watching, gun in dangerous condition. And our artillery crew withdraw. Now this is just a drill. They normally withdraw for a set amount of time. Then the gun captain alone will return to the gun, and he will this time refit, reprime, and again try and fire it. Again, all the crews take up their posts. Now this sounds silly, you see the guns and sticks are high again, all the tools are higher as these guns loaded. You notice that although the cannon crew turn away, they are looking at the muzzle. There we go. This time we're going to say that's actually gone off, and we are clear for final demonstration. Are we doing it by detail again? Oh, no, we're just going to go low. Now here's a really funny thing. During the American Civil War, officers were often targeted by the other side, so they de-blinked. Officers get plainer and plainer and plainer and plainer throughout the war, except officers of the artillery who turn into uniform targets. Why? Because when he says load and they start firing, the only man that can command the guns to stop firing is that guy. So Confederate and Union sharpshooters are instructed not to shoot artillery officers. So they stand there blinked to high heaven. So when you see them standing there, that's because they're not going to get shot. Whereas, of course, your poor crew are the targets. It's the opposite way round for infantry officers, and they get plainer and plainer and plainer. There we go. So we know what we're doing this time. I think we're up to dry sponge. We're going to advance the round. I'm going to go battery fire. By the way, don't put your fingers in your ears. Put your hands in front of your ears like that if you think it's going to be too loud, and open your mouth. Sounds silly, but this prevents the pressure building up in your house. Seriously, open your mouth. I'm on the field in front of you, and my mouth is open when I know this is going to happen because the air, you've got lots of voids in your head. If you make it a lot of things, you pass around. Hands in front of your ears, mouth open. How about that, ladies and gentlemen? Give it a round of applause for artillery. Battery fire. One more. Battery. Would you, ladies and gentlemen, would you like another round? Would you like them to fire a volley 2 rounds for 1? Oh, well, let's see what we can do then. Let's see if they can get it right. We're at the dry sponge. Look how quickly these guys go. These guys have been doing it for years, by the way. You may notice as well, these guys have got red flashes on their uniform. All the infantry have got blue because they're artillery. They're also wearing uniforms you'd normally associate with cavalry because they, of course, would be mounted. Cavalry, by the way, have
yellow debris cavalryman. Probably get beaten up by some armoured cavalry by him. Well, countdown. Well, I don't know. Shall we find somebody who can do a countdown? What about you, young man? Can you count down? Count down. Get everybody to count down with you, yeah? From 3, 2, 1, yeah? Can you do that for me? Okay. Everybody count down with him. 3, 2, 1. There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, round of applause for our artillerists. We've upset somebody. Round of applause for our Confederates. Our Union. And of course our skirmishers. Don't forget, our camps are open all day. Please don't come on the battlefield, because we will be doing some training on this field, and we will be setting up some pyrotechnic charges, because we're coming back at 4 o'clock to do a battle. Are you all coming back as well? Well, I hope so. And you're welcome to walk around the camps. We're of course open from 7 o'clock tonight. Ask any of these people any questions. They take a great deal of time and effort getting their uniforms right, and they love to have their photographs taken, all of them. So, especially this one. He's also available for weddings and bar mitzvahs. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching today. As I said, the field will be closed, so you have to walk around here, okay? Please don't walk on the field. If anybody has any questions, shout them now. You know we get at least one. Any questions? We got a question? Yeah, one of the cameras didn't go off, so we are actually clearing that cannon, which is why all the Union troops are aware. I did mention earlier that we will be doing a battle later on, and you can see on the field, which is why I urge you not to come on it, a series of red flags. This actually means that the field is in use and in a dangerous condition, because these are actually... There we go. And you look at that, so you can see how far that smoke went. So that is just air. Imagine if you were stood in front of that, that's going to hurt, isn't it? Oh, that's a proper good one as well. How could you do that earlier?
This is a day
For those people who ever wondered what the fog of war looks like, by the way, this is good around. This is a dryish day, and there's a bit of a breeze. Imagine a damp day. Imagine no breeze. It's going to hang, isn't it? Yeah, I've just been asked, can we walk around the camps? Absolutely. The camps are open. You can go and walk around. If you've got any questions about any of the things being used today, please go and ask. Another question here. Oh, there's a really good question. Answer the battle. This gentleman said, what are all the bags that they've got on them? Well, let's have a look as they go through. The bag that's to his right, that contains all his bullets. The little pouch on the front of the instrument, that contains those percussion caps I was talking about. And the other bag that's to his left, that hangs a bit low, that is his haversack. That contains all of his personal belongings. If they've got a backpack roll or a roll, that will contain all of his sleeping stuff. So the soldiers' personal things are in that bag. So that's what's in all the bags. But you're all welcome to come and ask them. The 7 soldiers on the bag will really keep everything that they should in the bags. So I know these two confederates are going to show you exactly what's happening. I think that's all the question. So without further ado, I'm going to hand my phone back to our people.
jump on, make this work.